Hello everyone. Welcome to this live session in my circus tent here on another day where we're homeschooling, still in lockdown, and still got things going on to help you keep entertained. So before I go any further, let's have a little warm up. And if you're not in your own little small space, as I am, then feel free to find a small space. Otherwise, just do the stuff where you are. And because I'm in a small space, like if I try standing up, that's about as far as I can go before I hit my head on the roof of the thing. So I'm going to do a very simple warm up with the help of Mr. Bun. Hello. And Mr. Raccoon. Hello. So if you're doing this, you can do what? Follow the animals, or you can get your own animals if you've got your own puppets, and you can have it doing this. So see if you can get the head moving, wave their hands separately together, and see how high your animals can jump. Jump higher, jump even higher. Oh, good circus animals. Excellent stuff. So that's warmed us up a little bit, hasn't it? Yes, very much. Okay, so see you later, animals. Bye. Actually, they're just going to watch from the side here. So I'm in a very small space. And that's quite useful when you're learning music. Actually, talking of music, let's turn that music down so you can hear me a bit better without any music annoying us. So, to remind everyone, we're going to learn how to juggle balls. Now, on Friday, we did a video on how to make your very own juggling balls out of you can see a bit better in this one. I used red lentils. I don't know why they're called red lentils, because they're very orange really, rather than red. So using red lentils in a bag, tied up so they don't spill anywhere. You can use other items. Lentils work well. Any dried pulses work very well. And then you get a balloon, as you might remember. You cut off the bit you blow into, and then you stuff the thing in, and there you go. And you can, of course, decorate them further if you want to. You can put another one on top, cut little holes out so you get the colour of the first layer shining through. Alright, so I've got that's how to make your own juggling ball. Of course, you might have some real juggling balls. They're fine to use in this situation, as are good old bean bags. You can, of course, use tennis balls and things like that. The trouble with tennis balls and other bouncy balls is that when they fall, they bounce here, there and everywhere, and it makes it harder to then recover them to carry on. So, and they also tend to bounce out of your hand sometimes, like a tennis ball will bounce off before you've caught it, which isn't ideal, especially when you're learning. So let's remind you the pattern that we need to know for juggling. So I've got three. Let's adjust the camera angle a bit, so you can see. Hopefully, adjust that a little bit more. Hopefully you can see these three balls, and we're gonna have one in our hand, one on our left, one on our right. I'll just put them on my knees so you can see. And you start with the hand and you carry it across to the other place, but there's a beanbag or ball in the way, so you pick the one up, you carry that one across without passing it to the other hand and drop it down here, except for there's a beanbag in the way, so pick that up, and we keep on going with that process. So this is called the Cascade. It's the basic pattern, and when you're learning to juggle, it is good to get this pattern fixed into your head by doing this exercise for a minute or two. Always very helpful because it gets you into the flow of what the pattern's going to be like. Okay. Excellent. So that's the pattern, and of course you can do that pattern with scarves if you have scarves. So where's my green scarf? Oh, there it is. Okay. So you can do it with scarves as well. And that's quite fun. So you can do it with lots of things. So put those back there. Okay, so the thing we need to get used to is throwing the beanbag or ball or whatever you ever have a certain height, preferably no higher than your head height, and the aim is to start in this position where your hands are out before you, like that, you see, and to throw it such that you don't have to move the hand that's going to catch. It just falls into it. So it's a nice accurate throw, going to there and coming down to the other hand. You see that? Now, the advantage of being in a small space is that for me, I can't really throw too high, otherwise I'm going to hit the ceiling. So that's a very good thing. So if you've got a Wendy house or a circus tent like me, then it's a good place to practice because it stops you throwing it too high, because you simply can't throw it too high. And like me, if you're sitting down on the floor, sitting down on the tent floor, then when you do drop them, it's not very far to pick them up. Whereas if you're standing up and you drop a ball or beanbag or whatever, you have to crouch down, pick it up and carry on. So it's always best to do it either sitting down or over a surface like a bed or a table, so that the object falls on the table. Do be careful looking around for you for anything that might get accidentally hit when you're learning to juggle, so you should make sure there's nothing breakable around you. Okay, but if you follow the instructions of just a simple throw backwards and forwards, then there shouldn't be much opportunity or any opportunity for things to get hit. So not too high, and try to throw it so that the catching hand doesn't have to move, and it is really going backwards and forwards, like we did with the pattern, doing this for a minute just to get ourselves into the flow of the Cascade pattern. We have to get into the flow of throwing backwards and forwards, and this is the only throw that we're going to do when we learn to juggle. Okay, it's the easiest way to do it because each hand does exactly the same throw. You might have seen people throwing balls at sort of in a circle, and that way your left hand and right hand have to do different throws, which makes it much harder to learn. So the pattern, the basic pattern to learn, is the one where each hand is doing exactly the same throw, always backwards and forwards, always aiming to get sort of head height. I mean, the higher you go, the more time you have before you have to catch the beanbag, but the higher you throw it, the more chance if you throw it off at a funny angle, it'll be harder to catch. So going head height is a nice sort of compromise from going. If you go too low, then it's relatively easy because you can see what you're doing with one, but you have very little time. So when we end up having to do three, it's all very frenetic. Can't say the word. It's chaos. So frenetic. That's the word I was trying to say. That's a long word, isn't it? Frenetic, chaotic. Okay. Maybe ask your parents if they know any other good words like frenetic. There's a word for the day, frenetic. Okay, so where were we? Let's go back to red. Backwards and forwards, trying to get head height. Okay, good. So once you've got used to that, we can move on to two. So in the pattern, the first time to start it off, you throw the first ball, and when it reaches your head height, and not before, you are then allowed to throw the second ball. And then as the red one comes down, you then have an empty hand to catch it, whilst the blue ball is coming down, you catch it there. So it'll go like this. So I'm going to throw the red one first. I'm going to throw, and then I'm going to catch. So throw, catch. You see that? Throw, catch. Throw, catch. And of course, the higher you do it, throw, catch, the slower the pattern is. But notice, it's always a throw before you then get to the catch. And there's always a gap. We're never doing 2 throws together or 2 catches together. It's always one after the throw, catch. So have a go at that, and you might want to remember that stage for after this video, so you can carry on practicing. The next stage is, of course, to try with 3. Now, most people, when they learn juggling, they want to have a go immediately, and everything goes chaotic. So the easiest way to get out of that feeling of panic is to do it nice and slowly. So we've got used to just throwing 1 backwards and forwards. We've got used to doing 2. And by the way, if you've struggled with one hand throwing it weird, especially, and often this happens with the second throw, whichever hand you write with, for me it's my right hand, if you make that your second throw, it makes it a bit easier. So here we go, red's in my left, so throw, catch. That way your stronger hand gets in a better second throw and things work out better. So try that little top tip out and see how it goes. So back to 3. So we're gonna not do any catching. We're just gonna let the beanbags of ball fall in front of us. So it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be throw. So you should end up with 2 on one side and 1 on the other. So show you that again. Throw. So we're just concentrating. We'll change to kneeling up and see if that's any easier for you to see. Throw. 2 land on one side, 1 on the other. So at this point, we're trying to aim, we're trying to keep that nice rhythm going. We're trying to make the throws nice and accurate so they stay at head height. And we're trying not to panic. So it's a throw. In fact, at this stage, you can actually, I've lost the beanbag, you can actually do it slowly. You can do throw, and try and see if you can get, I don't know if you saw that, I got both my 2 beanbags to land right next to each other. But then I have been doing this for a few years. So, throw, so let me share that. In slow motion, throw. So we're trying to aim to do throws really slowly. Okay. Once you get used to that and everything's landing nicely, you can speed it up a bit until you finally get to the throw. Okay. Then the next step is just to try and start catching. Now we're trying to stay relaxed. Think of all the things we've learnt so far about where we hold our hands, getting the ball to be a consistent height. Let me come down again and see that a bit better. Nice consistent height every time, and then moving to 2. Remind ourselves of that, and catching, throw, catch. Not throw, catch. It's a throw, catch. A nice steady rhythm, and then we just add the 3rd in. For this, you will have to hold 2 in one hand to start off with, and again, it works better if you go for your weaker hand. But you can experiment to see which hand works best. If you're using juggling balls, sometimes it's quite tricky to hold large juggling balls in one hand, so you just have to be careful. If you've made your homemade ones and they're too big to hold 2 in one hand, then you can take some of the red lentils out, or whatever you put inside the stuffing to make them smaller. Again, if they feel too small in your hand, you can put more stuff in. Okay, so have a go at holding two and just throwing the first one to the other hand whilst holding on to the other one. So have a go at that, get comfortable. You can even do the have one in the other hand, go throw, throw. So you're just doing two and you're just keeping one in the hand. Throw, throw. Okay, so get used to that, and then we just go for it. So remember, nice consistent throws, and remember it's a nice throw, 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 throw pattern. So it'll be throw, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw. It'll be like that. So it'll look something like this. Throw, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw. Hopefully you can see that. Now, of course, that looks quite fast. I'm doing it at a slightly lower height than normal, otherwise I'm going to hit the top of the circus tent. Which is why, if you remember a few weeks ago, when we did it, last week I think, when we were doing it with scarves, you have the advantage that they float and you have a bit more time between each item. See, this is throw, catch rhythm, whereas the bean bags were throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch. So you can see it's much quicker. It's probably twice the speed using bean bags. So if you haven't yet learned to do it, how to go with scarves, then doing it with scarves is great because you get the pattern sorted and you get used to that throw, catch rhythm, and you have more time to do it before you then move on to having to do it at a faster rate of throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch. But if you practice every day for a week or 2 weeks, by the end of that fortnight, you've made huge progress, and you'll be finding that you can do maybe 1, 2, 3 before you catch drop a beanbag, or maybe even more like that before you drop one. So have a go at doing that, and enjoy doing it in a small space and see how it goes. It's always best to practice just a few days, for a few minutes each day, rather than trying to do 1 hour solid practice once a week. You make very little progress that way compared with 10 minutes a day. You'll make a much larger amount of progress if you do it every day for a shorter period than just once a week for a long period. So there's a top tip. In fact, that works for a lot of things. A lot of things are like that. If you do it every day, it helps with your learning. So if you're struggling with something in particular, then try that one out, see what it's like. Anyway, it's been great having you today, and if you have comments on this video, things that are unclear, please do post them, or if you have a video of yourself juggling that you want to post, say, show me how you're doing, that's great. I also offer Zoom sessions, so if you want to actually ask me questions and we can show each other stuff, then I'm happy to do Zoom sessions for free as well. So comment, contact, whatever, share your stuff, tag me in. It's Circus Stu signing out of this Circus Skills at Home for Everyone session in my circus tent. Bye everyone.